From the Sun-Times newsroom, I'm Natasha Korecki, and this is Off Message, our weekly political talk show. Joining me this week is Paris Schutz, political reporter from WTTW, and two of our columnists, Mary Mitchell and Mark Brown. This week we will be looking back. It's a week of reflection, and we're going to look at the top political stories of the year, and everyone's going to make their pitch. And why don't we start with you, Paris? What do you think is one of the top political stories of the year in Illinois?
The top story for me, without question, is the state finally passing a $163 billion pension reform bill for so many reasons, but no better reason than something actually happened and something significant happened on it. Over the next several years, billions of dollars will be freed up to spend on education and infrastructure and things that the state is supposed to spend money on. If the leaders have their numbers right, if the courts uphold it, maybe this gets the state back onto sound fiscal footing. This had to happen for the state to get back on track, and it finally did.
So Mary, what do you have for us?
For me, it was certainly the stunning downfall of former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife. In this case, you had two political people who were a team politically that have gone now are going to jail.
Do you think Sandy deserved in this case
I think
to
she
be
deserved.
involved?
Well, I think she deserved it. She is a very strong part of that family partnership. She definitely, Jesse knew how to jump to her music, let me tell you that. So I can't see her being a innocent, bystander in all of this.
And a lot of the furs were for her, weren't
Well, but beyond the furs, it was seeing a political family, a civil rights icon family, a people who are known nationally and internationally to really fall over a few bucks, because we're not talking Bernie Madoff money here. We're talking about furs and mementos and spending guitars and things like that. It was just stunning. So
Some of them which were fakes, right?
Yeah, that was a big story for me.
Well, and one of the things that was different about Sandy, of course, was that she was a public official.
They were really co-conspirators too. That was stunning for me because Sandy, for the longest time, tried to paint herself as the nurturing person who's taking care of her husband who's going through emotional trauma, when really she was helping steer this corrupt ship.
You just expected a lot more from people.
And I think that
especially with Jesse Jr., who was raised on the laps of civil rights leaders and people who were really vested into improving the condition of African Americans, to see them treat their office so carelessly was just, to me, it was so disappointing.
Especially one of the poorest congressional districts in the country. If anyone needed strong representation.
I got to say, every time somebody says they have to correct them, that is a very economically diverse area. They do have poor people, but it's economically diverse.
Well, we could talk about that for a while, but Mark, why don't we get to you?
The Illinois becoming the 16th state to legalize gay marriage, it's a drastic change in the course of thousands of years of human history. I mean, that sounds like the opponents, but it's true. The fact that that Illinois has now gotten on board, and we weren't the last. In fact, this may be the tipping point of it. Could help bring the whole country through on this. Maybe over the next 5-10 years.
It's so interesting because throughout the debate, you kept hearing, why is it taking so long in Illinois? We're such a blue state. But really, you bring up a good point, which is we were the 16th state, so we are among the first.
I think what's most fascinating for me is to see the fact that the gay lobby was so strong in Illinois. I mean, it took African Americans forever to get Brown versus Board of Education. Once the lesbian and gay community got together and began to lobby, that train was going down the track, and to see it, happen was just that was
their organization really is what put it over the top in the fall veto session. I would say that one of the most significant moments in politics this year was when Lisa Madigan dropped out of the race. Once she got out, I just think it gave a lot of momentum to Republicans, and then now it's changed the landscape for Quinn.
Think about how tied that is to these other stories, gay marriage and pensions. When all the gubernatorial candidates got in based on the premise that Governor Pat Quinn couldn't get anything done on pensions or the fiscal mess. When Lisa Madigan got out, stuff actually got done on those two big issues, and the old adage that nothing gets done without Mike Madigan wanting it done, I'm sorry, nothing happened to disprove that. When he wanted to get moving on that, it happened.
Well, thank you very much. It was a great discussion. With that, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on All